Welcome to the Knakal News Network. Knakal News Network is brought to you by Massey Knakal Realty Services, New York's #1 building sales firm.
Hi, I'm John Hageman, Sales Team Manager for Massey Knakal. Welcome to the Knakal News Network. Today I'm here with Bob Knakal, Chairman of Massey Knakal, and we're going to talk about the current retail investment sales market. Bob, ICSC is just around the corner. It looked like, when looking back last year, that the numbers for retail property sales were down a little bit, but I think there's been some resurgence. You want to tell us what's happening in this market?
Yeah, well, Hags, it was very interesting that the retail sector actually, if you look at just 2013 numbers versus 2012, it did appear there was a significant drop-off in activity, but I think that was more indicative of the fact that 2012 was so robust in terms of the number of retail properties that were selling. It seemed like of all sectors that responded to the potential increase in capital gains taxes, the retail property sector was the #1 sector that was sensitive to that increase.
What was the dollar volume of sales in 12 versus 2013?
Well, 12 was an all-time record year for the retail sector. In fact, we had $4.6 billion of property sales in the retail sector in 2012. That figure dropped to $1.75 billion in 2013. That was a 62.3% drop in activity, which seems very, very significant. But if we go back to 2011, we see that there was $1.38 billion in sales volume then. So actually, we're ahead of the pace by a significant margin that we were in 2011, and just this aberration of having a fantastic year in 12 really skewed those figures.
What submarkets are performing the best for retail?
Well, retail, you always have to consider Manhattan as doing very, very well. Clearly, there's been a tremendous amount of upward pressure exerted on rents, and as rents rise, property values rise, so we're seeing some very interesting things with respect to retail properties in the best areas. But in terms of a year-over-year increase, we've seen a dramatic increase in the Bronx, which was very, very interesting. Nearly a tripling of dollar volume of sales in the Bronx in 2013 versus 2012. That was due to a couple of very major transactions that occurred, but yet those numbers still look very solid.
With that being said, though, Bob, Manhattan is still the biggest component of that total dollar volume figure.
Oh, without a doubt. Over 900 million of the 1.7 billion occurred in the Manhattan market alone, south of 96th Street.
So, Bob, what about the turnover, the number of buildings sold?
Well, in 2012, again, we had a record year. 354 retail properties were sold. That figure dropped to 266 last year, which is down about 24.9% from 2012. But again, if we compare that 2013 number to 2011, we see that in 2011 there were only 199 properties sold. So we've had a significant increase over what the trend has been.
With number of properties sold, what's the best submarket?
Well, surprisingly, Queens did the best last year in terms of number of properties sold, staying exactly flat. There were 90 retail properties sold in Queens in 2012, 90 again in 2013. So all of the submarkets actually saw a reduction from 12 to 13, but Queens was surprisingly robust.
So dollar volume was down. What's happening with the average price per square foot?
Well, average price per square foot has actually been going up in all submarkets. And we've seen very healthy gains across the board, mainly because underlying fundamentals are getting better and rents are increasing. So if we look at northern Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens, we see modest increases in value in 13 relative to 12. But in the Bronx, we saw an 18% increase in the average price per square foot. And in the Manhattan market, last year we hit an all-time record of over $1,850 a square foot for retail property. So we're very, very encouraged by the activity that we see, and we believe that those positive fundamentals will continue throughout 2014. In summary, while the dollar volume of sales and the number of properties sold was down in 2013 from 2012, this is only due to the fact that 2012 was such a robust year. Comparing the 2013 statistics to 2011, we see healthy gains year over year. Average price per square foot is up across the board in all submarkets, with the Manhattan market hitting a new all-time average of $1,854 per square foot.
Thank you for joining us today. Tune in next week for another installment on the Knakal News Network.